all the participants, all the physicians who are watching us on this platform, and welcome to the National Update on Clinical Diabetes 2021. And as all of us are aware of the present scenario, so this conference is handled, done virtually. And today's topic for this discussion today evening is a very exciting one that is, I think, very relevant to COVID times also, in where the technology has been used to the utmost level during any management of any of the healthcare problems. So we have the topic today, technology in the management of diabetes, and it's a very important topic. I think technology plays a very vital role in life of all of us, not only in healthcare, in general also. And to just make all of you clear about the technology, when we talk about technology in diabetes, we mean as per the definition by ADA, any hardware, devices, and software that people with diabetes mellitus use to help manage their diabetes condition, or from lifestyle to blood glucose levels, can be termed as a diabetes technology. That is as per ADA. And we will be discussing on that. Traditionally, diabetes technology has been mainly two ways, mainly two types, but it has changed in these recent times. Earlier, it used to be only on insulin delivery, or it used to be on glucose monitoring. But I think our expert will discuss more on that. What are the new other technologies available currently? And to go ahead with this program, we have an expert in this field, Dr. Jyotidev Kesavadev, a very senior physician consultant and diabetologist from Trivandrum, Kerala. And I think most of us know him. He is an astute clinician and researcher in the field of diabetes, not only nationally, also internationally. And he's an authority in the management of diabetes, and especially in the use of technology. He has numerous publications and research papers on use of technology in day-to-day management of diabetes and also clinical trials. And I think without taking much of time, I'm really privileged and honored to have Dr. Jyotidev here to discuss with us the need and the use of technology, how we can use very wisely so that our patient outcomes or the people with diabetes benefit most. Going ahead, I think all of us know diabetes mellitus is a very old age disease, and it has been managed for years traditionally by diet, lifestyle, exercise, medications, insulin. Even now also, 70 to 80% population of India still are using traditional ways. I think only 10 to 20% might be using technology to help manage their conditions. Maybe in some of the metros, and people who are little educated and have good access to technology and who understand that. Now, we would like to see and discuss how this can be widely expanded, and is it really worth using a technology for a common man to manage his diabetes when people can manage diabetes without technology. So that's the main reason why we are here, to discuss what are the advantages, disadvantages, challenges, or how we can wisely use them, both from a physician perspective, from a patient perspective, and also from a technology perspective and research perspective. So without much taking time, now I go to my first question to Dr. Jyotidev. Very good evening, sir. Welcome to you on this program. And Dr. Jyotidev and me has been working very closely for, I think, almost a decade now in the field of technology during my time in Novo Nordisk and then Medtronic on insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitoring system. As I said, he's an expert in that. Now, going to my first question, Dr. Jyotidev, we know there are a lot of technologies available currently. So what are the technologies currently available in the management of diabetes, which can be used by people both abroad, globally, and also in India?
Okay, first of all, let me thank the organizers for inviting me and giving this opportunity. I know a lot of time is set apart for this discussion on technologies this evening, and many other experts and friends are joining. And I am quite excited to be along with Dr. Debashish, because Debashish is a very old friend of mine, and we became friends because of technology. And I'm excited since we are going to discuss technology. So when you are asking me a question on which are all the globally available technologies in diabetes, it used to be a very simple answer until 10 years ago. But now it will take more than 1 hour to make some meaningful answer to this question. When we classify the technologies in diabetes, it can be broadly classified into those technologies which are used for glucose sensing, which includes the glucometers, the continuous glucose sensors, and so on. And then the second will be the technologies which are used for insulin delivery. So this started with insulin syringes and then insulin pump, and then only the pens came. So the insulin pumps were before the insulin pens. And then we have the sophisticated newer delivery devices incorporating technologies and algorithms. And then you have the decision support systems. So this has emerged during the last 5 years, and this has become very common. The decision support systems will be those systems which are helping the patients with coaching, with continuous education, troubleshooting on diabetes and devices, dietetic advices, either in real time or with the help of artificial intelligence, or it can be with the titration of dosages of insulin. So that has also become very popular now, because some studies have shown that when you compare the insulin titration with the doctor against a patient, so the patient driven against the doctor driven, the patient driven titration algorithms are bringing better outcomes. So the classification itself is broader. And I would say that globally, if these many technologies are available for diabetes globally, we in India, we have only this much of technologies for diabetes. And this is a very sad state of affairs. And Dr. Debashish, in your introduction, has rightly pointed out that only a minuscule of patients with diabetes in India are making use of technologies. And technologies, unfortunately, is not a big market in India. And when you compare those patients using technology with those without using technologies, I will compare those people who are not using a mobile phone versus those using a smartphone. And only those using a smartphone, when they start using a smartphone, they will soon realize that this technology is not just for calling or attending a call, but it is beyond a telephone. So when they start using technologies only, they will realize that this is only meant for, I will say it again, only meant for prevention of complications in diabetes. And unfortunately, more and more patients and the doctors in India are using very, 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 very expensive technologies for treating the complications rather than preventing the complications of diabetes. Anyway, a lot of changes are happening, and I am, of course, we are all bothered about COVID pandemic, and we are suffering a lot. But COVID pandemic reinvented lot of existing technologies in diabetes. And one perfect living example will be this ongoing webinar where Debashish is interviewing me, and we are highly focused, and this is going to deliver a very highly efficient education for all the audience. And this was existing even before the COVID, but COVID only made us realize that some of these existing technologies are much more powerful and cost effective. And in the same manner, during this COVID pandemic, many physicians started adopting remote monitoring in diabetes. So the existing technologies in India, such as Bluetooth connected glucose meters, very cheap, very cheap, and continuous glucose monitoring. More and more of these getting used during the COVID pandemic is a welcome change. And even for us, we invented the possibilities of virtual IPs, not the OPs, virtual IPs. So we have been treating more than 120 patients with COVID, only our patients, via a virtual IP. So even now we are very busy with the virtual IP. So that has been some of these lessons taught by the COVID pandemic.
Thank you. Very nicely explained, Dr. Jyotidev. Coming to my next question, I think we all are aware of the evidence that is available for technology in diabetes, but they are mostly limited to insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitoring systems, and that too especially in type 1 diabetes, and not much in type 2 diabetes. Now, I want to hear from expert like you, who's using technology for almost 2 decades now. In a real world clinical scenario, what are the advantages of using a technology in real world practice when you're using for your patients, both from a physician perspective and also from a patient perspective, and also in general from a diabetes management perspective? What are the real advantages on the ground of using this technology?
I think I will make it very simple. If you ask any researcher in diabetes anywhere in the world on how successful is the management of diabetes, the answer will be all the 3 targets in diabetes is maintained only in maybe 20% or 5% of the individuals. And diabetes management is a failure in as high as 50 to 90% or even 95% of the patients. When you look at the average hemoglobin A1C, it remains at around 8.5 to 9%. Not only in India, I mean many parts of the world. So despite the availability of all these newer therapies in diabetes, because in the last 10 years, we had more than 20 new drugs for diabetes, injectables, orals. But if you look at the hemoglobin A1C value, look at the millions of patients who are developing the complications of diabetes. Did those medications made a difference? The answer is definitely not. If you look at the number of deaths due to coronary artery disease, the number of amputations, the number of patients developing chronic kidney disease, in many parts of the world, this graph is still sloping upwards and it is steeply going upwards. And hence, it is very significant for all of us to make a comparison with the use of technologies versus not using technologies in the management of diabetes. So if somebody is using technologies for glucose monitoring, a structured self-monitoring of blood glucose, if somebody is using a diabetes app such as My Sugar, or a simple app which is connected to your glucose meter, which is again providing coaching, which is currently free in India. If somebody using telemedicine, because we have been using telemedicine for 23 years for the management of diabetes. So we have made several studies comparing patients not using telemedicine versus those using virtual consultations for modifications of the dosages of medications, diet and exercise. So if a technology can change, if a technology can result in prevention of complications, which is significant enough when you compare with the 2 modalities and with the 2 cohorts at the end of 10 years or 15 years or 20 years. And then it becomes level A evidence, because you require a level A evidence for everything. So similar to conducting a randomized clinical trial, it should not be an experience. Then only it is a level E evidence. So technologies, most of them have level A evidence. But if you ask me the challenge, then the answer will be the cost. But look at the cost which is spent for treating all these consequences. Ultimately, you have to assess the quality of life, which is improving. Because I still remember Dr. Debashish making lectures when we were working together, and when we were educating doctors, when you were working with Medtronic, we always used to discuss about how this has made a change in not only type 1 diabetes, but also in type 1 diabetes with respect to quality of life. In diabetes, the quality of life comes down with every complication. With the neuropathy, it comes down. With erectile dysfunction, it comes down. With depression, it drops. And with further complications such as atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, it drastically drops because the confidence level drops. So technology, especially for primary prevention, it dramatically results in significant improvement of quality and the sustainability in the quality improvement after 10 years or 15 years need to be documented from more and more centers. And this should be irrespective of the pharmaceutical agencies or technology firms involved. It should be documented by the researchers in diabetes on how it is bringing down the cost of care in diabetes. And this alone can help. And your question on type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is this chunk of patients around the world. And the type 1 diabetes, it is only 5 to 6%.
Yeah.
So the technology, of course, has been an invention in type 1 diabetes, but type 2 diabetes is the major problem now. All the complications resulting from uncontrolled diabetes. Because how can we treat millions of patients without technology? Because we are all human beings. We have our own limitations, and technology has got unlimited possibilities. And when you have unlimited possibilities, you can probably win over millions of patients, those who have diabetes in India. So that is the only solution.
Thank you, sir. Very, very nicely explained the advantages and use. I think how best we can use. I think that's the how widely we can use them, and in the right patients. I think you need the most important is the motivation of the patient itself. I think is the most critical in all of this. You might have a good technology, but if the patient is not motivated enough to use them to its maximum benefit, then the technology will never have that outcomes. Yeah, very, very nicely. Coming to my third questions, I have clubbed both these questions, third and fourth. What are the major challenges one is access to this technology and barriers of using this technology, both from a technology perspective and also from a user perspective?
I'll be very brief. The most important challenge, I believe, is most of the physicians, especially in our allied specialties, are not aware of the technologies in diabetes and of the fact that most of these technologies are very user-friendly and easy to use, because they are not familiar with the technologies, number one. And I have seen even very closely allied specialties in diabetes not at all aware of what has happened during the past 15 years. And this makes use of technology widely popular impossible. And number two, many people believe that the technologies are very, very expensive. And hence the doctors are reluctant to use technologies. Whereas we need to speak mostly on how it is going to be cost effective. So the example will be some of the expensive smartphones where you can do more than 100 things. And those are going to save time, energy, and cost. And you make more money. So likewise, how you can prevent the complications of diabetes with the use of technologies need to be more popularized among the other doctors. And the fourth challenge, which is one of the biggest challenges, is most of the doctors fear that if I am using technology, such as a sensor or an insulin pump, I need to spend more time with the patient. And that is not going to bring me any more money. So it is losing the time as well as losing the money. So when I say money, it means the quality time is lost. Because a doctor could have seen 5 patients instead of just discussing about the use of a technology with one patient. So and this can be overcome only with the help of a diabetes team. So every doctor has to build up 1 or 2 diabetes educators or nurses along with them. So this is why the International Diabetes Federation, they have recognized this requirement. So last year in 2019, the theme was nurses makes the difference in diabetes. So even for technologies, our colleagues, the nurses and educators, they make the difference, and they are going to be those who will overcome those challenges now prevailing for every doctor for not using the technologies in diabetes. So they are going to help us in using these technologies.
And very, very rightly, very aptly described. Also, what are the technology challenges? Technology itself has a lot of challenges when you're using these devices. What's your head?
Yeah. So, and that because no technology is foolproof. We know it very well. Because when we are doing the Zoom meeting, the voice can break. During the telemedicine consultations, some of the patients with a good broadband connectivity, suddenly they disappear from the screen, only they come back after 5 minutes. So technology will have its own hiccups. And the doctor using the technology, the nurses and the technicians, which are those who are working along with the doctors, they should be aware of the setbacks, the drawbacks of using every technology. Because none of these technologies are 100% foolproof. Because they should not be comparing a continuous glucose sensor with a glucometer. They should not be using an insulin pump, believing that that is the end of treating diabetes. That is never a solution because it's all evolving. So technology, in every field of life, technology is evolving. So technology, the challenges with technology is the time, the expertise, the 24/7 troubleshooting which might be required, and of course the recurring expenses using a technology. And every year the technology might change. So somebody will procure a device spending a few lakhs, and in another 2 years they will see that there is a much better device which can stop insulin before the onset of a hypoglycemia, which can automatically change the basal rates during the night, and this hybrid closed loop system can maintain the timing range for more than 80% of the time, whereas the current system it is only 60% of the time. And they could already spend money 2 years earlier. So these are all the practical challenges, the realistic challenges using technologies.
Thank you, sir. I think you are absolutely, to the point. I think awareness and education among the healthcare professionals very low. Number one, absolutely. And second, time. In a busy practice, if somebody is seeing 50, 60 patients in 2-3 hours, it's very difficult for him to use the technology. And I think continuous education and training is very, very important
I will interrupt you. We have seen that those using technologies more successfully are those doctors who are having less number of patients in the outpatient department. And those doctors having less number of patients in the outpatient departments are the ones who are having more number of patients altogether, and they need not come and visit the OP more frequently because those patients are not having any reason to visit the doctor frequently because they are using technologies. Yes. And they are constantly in touch with the doctor via technology. So they need not come for an in-person visit. So if they're not coming for in-person visit, for the few number of patients coming to the clinic, the doctors can more successfully use technologies for prevention.
Thank you, sir. I'm aware of the time. We have last 1 minute, 1.5 minutes to go. My last question, it's a very personal question. Besides artificial pancreas, which is the other technology which excites you, which you are looking ahead?
Because we are all people who become very excited with technologies. So apart from artificial pancreas, I would say that this is the technology which is much more exciting for me. The Apple Watch. The future of health is on your wrist. That is how Apple describes the Apple Watch. Earlier, it used to give me the exercise, the workout, the number of steps. But now, the Apple Watch is capable of measuring the blood oxygen levels, the duration of sleep, spent awake, in deep sleep, in light sleep. It can measure the VO2 max. So it's becoming ultimate. So the dream of me with an Apple Watch, with a doctor on my wrist, will be this small Apple Watch measuring the glucose levels, evolving into a continuous glucose monitoring machine, capable of measuring the temperature, along with most other parameters. So the patient himself will be capable of communicating with the doctor with all the health parameters measured from the wrist. So this, I think, this is the most exciting technology ever. Of course, linked to diabetes as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think we very nicely you described all the aspects of the technology, and I think our participant must have got a lot of insights into knowing the technology in and around diabetes. Just to conclude, once again, thank you, Dr. Jyoti Des. Thanks for your time to have you here on this platform. I hope all the physicians who are here must have gained a lot of insight. To conclude, I think just as Dr. Jyoti Des said, the pace of development of technology is extremely rapid. It's very hard for us to keep in pace with them. By the time we do research on one device, the second new version is out. So it's really very tough to manage. But at the end, the most important component in all these systems is patient. So I think technology selection must be appropriate for the patient. It has to be individualized, and simply having a device or application does not or will not change the outcomes unless patients or human beings and doctors engages with it to create a positive health benefit. That's the crux of any technology or any application. With that note, I thank you all the participants, and last words of wisdom from Dr. Jyotidev before we just shut down. Thank you, Dr. Jyotidev. That's last line.
That was an excellent conclusion. Most of the technologies currently available for diabetes, I'm sure will disappear in the next 5 years. So technology will be fast developing, and all those developments are only for the betterment of the future. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I hope all the participants had a good time and got some insight from this program. God bless you all. Stay safe in the COVID times. Thank you.